the way, I have an issue I would like to share with everyone. I hope you can help me. I have a transaction where the buyer make an offer to the seller. The seller accepted. And then we have a buyer disclosure, the lease application, and all of suddenly the seller sent me an email saying that she changed, she doesn't want to sell anymore. My first question, in that situation, am I entitled to my commission? And the second question, when I inform to the buyer that I'm so sorry, the seller changed her mind. She doesn't want to sell you this business. As my surprise, he told me, the buyer, Diane, why don't you increase the offer price? Oh my goodness, I never see that situation before. What make me worry? What if I offer her the better price, and then later on during the transaction, she changed her mind again? So even though he informed me that, I did not tell the seller yet. I would like to ask for your advice. What should you do in my situation like this?
Anyone run into that?
I thought there was actually a clause that if you bring an offer in the listing agreement that said if you bring an offer, a full price offer without the contingencies, something happening, that they're obligated to pay your fee regardless. And now, in practicality, I don't think it's something you want to go into court and start litigating over, but it might be a good point just to bring that up, that, you know what, a listing agreement said we agreed on a price, here's the listing price. I brought you that offer full price. You know, if you don't want to sell, you're still obligated to pay my commission.
Is there a clause like that, Diane, in yours?
Did you use
Yes.
the tab? Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. However, I did not use that because I have one experience 2 years ago when I print that when I informed to the buyer that the seller denied to sell. What the buyer doing is, he said he gonna print the seller to the court. And when I tell the seller that, he said, oh, okay, I sell it. So I don't need to use that. So everything goes smoothly and we close that transaction 2 years ago. Today, the buyer, as my surprise, he told me, Diane, do you know, everything the bottom of the line is money. I believe the seller changed her mind because of the money. Let me increase my offer, which I surprised, because with his offer before, the seller accepted, and now she changed her mind. She used
Did you ask her why she changed her mind?
Yes, I did. And she said her husband said the training too much. With the price, she must reduce the training. The training time. But I don't think that's the real reason. The training you can negotiate, and then if you do not like it, you can tell at the counter offer why she signed the offer and now accept the offer, and now she changed her mind.
Wait a minute, you said she accepted the offer?
Oh yeah, she signed, she accepted already. The offer was accepted. Yes.
Well, then there, that brings another point, doesn't it? I mean, she's agreed to sell. I mean,
yes, that's correct. Yes, she
yeah,
agreed to sell. Yes.
No, she signed the agreement. I didn't hear that.
And she signed the buyer disclosure, acknowledged the buyer disclosure as well. So it's
no, I think the seller's got a problem there. That's now you're getting into, I mean, if you look at real estate, it happens in the housing business, right? When sellers, they sign, there's clauses in there for that. Nevertheless,
but in this
Diane,
case, I'm sorry, but in this situation, the buyer, he willing to offer more. But what make me concerned, what if he offer more, she accepted and she changed her mind again? I don't know. What should I need to do to protect the buyer?
Diane, I think here's the problem. If you put up you've already got a signed agreement. You've got an
Yes,
offer and a signed
yes,
agreement.
yes,
So that's a legal document. That's a
yes,
legal agreement. Does everyone agree with that?
yes.
I do,
Yes.
I do, but did she send out a notice to perform to the seller? Is that something that you were going to address, Dick?
Well,
No,
I'm
she
not an
does.
attorney here. I don't understand. I would maybe find an attorney for you, Diane, to execute on that. Unfortunately, you might have to spend some money to get this closed, or you can go with, I don't know how to give you, I don't want to give you legal advice here.
Okay.
But if the buyer really is a great buyer, it sounds like they are,
Yes,
uh,
they are.
then I think maybe you could ask the buyer to see what his legal rights are on the purchase, because I know you're protecting the seller, but the point, and you represent the seller, you've got an agreement.
No,
Uh,
I'm dual agent. I'm dual
right,
agent.
and so, but primarily you got the listing, right? You're
Yes,
the listing agent.
yes, yes.
So it's kind of I don't know, kind of a tough spot you find. What does everyone think? What would you do if you were her?
It depends on if the contract has specific performance in its wording. I mean, they should be holding specific performance for the buyer and the seller once it's executed. So it really depends on the contract, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I use CAP contract, California Association
It
Business.
probably does have that, but Tanya would know the answer to this. I'm sorry she's not on the call. But this is something you might just reach out to her on. But make sure she knows that it's been signed by, the offer has been accepted by the seller. And then after, this is what I understand, and then after signing the acceptance, she has backed out.
Yes, that's
Verbal,
correct.
verbally.
Yes. No, I asked her to email me and she did.
Well, I don't care if she did, because in my opinion, she signed the agreement, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, the offer.
yes,
So at that moment, she agreed to sell.
yes.
And she can have second thoughts if she wants, but I think there are ramifications. And what are those ramifications? And who should pay for deciding what they are? And how should you approach the seller with it? I don't think she ought to get away from this scot-free, though. Anyone else?
Well, I think either way, your commission is due and payable.
Yeah.
Because you've executed, you've had accepted, you've essentially sold the business. Now, if you had a change of heart, that's different. I actually have a different situation, which is, I think, probably more typical, where I didn't get a full cash offer, but then the business that was being sold is suddenly exploding in sales. You're going, hey, wait a minute, I need to hold on to this because I think I can get a better price down the road. And in that situation, you kind of go, well, do I kick the can down the road, or do I hold them firm? And, obviously I just decide, well, you know what, we're off potentially looking at a higher price, maintain the relationship, and, we'll just relist it down the road when you feel like you can earn, because we're talking about doubling sales in 1 year. And I said, well, that definitely will have an impact on the asking price. And obviously every person that's selling always overvalues what the business really can sell for. So it's that's more of a tricky one. But had I had a full price contract or offer that he signed on, I would enforce that, because that is a
It's a
contract
difference.
obligated.
Yeah, that's a game changer in my mind.
Yeah. Well, at least get the commission. I mean,
Yeah, at
they
least.
can make it as difficult as possible for the buyer, because they'll have obviously the due diligence period where they can be totally uncooperative and just really give them bad feelings that they can end up backing out. But as the broker of record, you've performed per the contract.
So what would you
You,
advise, Diane, just as a broker in the broker's position? What would you advise?
First
Next
of all,
step.
first of all, I would like to say thank you for all of you to give me the advice. Secondly, the offer that the seller accepted less the original, I list on Bid by Sell only $2,000. However, she signed to accept it. That's the counter offer. She accepted. I am not worried about my commission because I know I am doing everything right to get my commission. But what makes me thinking right now is the buyer willing to increase the offer after the seller accepted. I don't know what should I need to do in this situation. But ignore the buyer. Yes, of course, my commission is protected because the seller signed the counter offer and accept everything. If the buyer do not offer, we are done. But since now the buyer asked me, Diane, why don't you increase $2,000? Make full price, because he said the bottom is the money, which make me
I don't
$2,000
know.
really that
Yeah.
big of a difference? That doesn't sound like a lot of.
yeah no that's
How
not
Also, I don't agree that we would set that precedent, because now you've accepted an offer, and now to try and entice them, you're going to offer more money. Well, what's stopping them from saying, well, let's see how far this seller's going to go? As opposed to, I would get with the seller and decide, what is it that's stopping you from executing this? You agreed to it. What happened? Did you have a change of heart? Is it you want more money? I wouldn't pass on the additional offer until you get a very definitive answer from the seller that the reason she's changed her mind and no longer wants to conclude the deal is because of this. And it may not be a money thing. It may be, hey, I just realized I got to pay my kid through college and they're going to need a job or something. There could be some other mitigating circumstance where you say, okay, now that I understand, you're now concerned that your child who just got fired from her job may want to get into my business because they needed an income. Well, you go to the seller and say, hey, how do you feel about also hiring the son or daughter? It could be something totally not money related, because like the gentleman said, I don't think $2,000 is the make
yeah
or break situation. But if
me
you
too.
start down that slope and say, I'm going to offer you more money, then what's stopping them saying, well,
I think you have to be careful.
yeah.
My opinion, my definitely non-attorney opinion, that you've got an agreement here, and if the buyer comes back and comes up with a new agreement, nor more money, you maybe void the first one, and you have to be careful with another agreement because that would virtually, then the buyer's back in the game or seller's back in the game again. Right now, you've got an agreement, you've got a offer, and you've got an acceptance of that offer. My feeling is that certainly my opinion on this too, I guess, would be to deal with that agreement and stick with that agreement. Don't fiddle with it. Just get it done and sell the business, and get your the buyer also has damages here too. There's the seller needs to realize that the buyer has done what they said they would do. You've done what you said you would do. The seller is reneging on a contract. So you have to be in contract here. You have to deal with the legal side of this, really. I agree, Alfredo. There is personal issues, and I agree with that.
Well, I'm just saying, before you come down with a hammer, which obviously now you're talking lawyers and
Yeah.
real animosity, find out what changed, what happened. Why did we suddenly going to change your heart? Is it a money issue, or is there some ulterior motive that maybe can be addressed without voiding the agreement?
Yeah, I mean, the agreement's the agreement, and I think the seller has to know they've signed an agreement, though, is all I'm saying.
But what
Diane, did you say that the buyer basically does not like the training period? Is that what's really sort of like, threw the wrench into the deal?
Yeah, The reason the seller said that she canceled the agreement because she believe and she feel that the training too much. She doesn't have time.
I mean, I think that's a valid point, isn't it? It's part of the deal. So I mean, it's negotiations, but I don't know. I think Dick is right. I think you might need to consult an attorney or something
Is
here.
that a PSA? Is that a purchase and sell agreement, right? Not
Yes,
a letter of
yes,
intent.
yes, a
So
purchase.
the purchase and sell agreement already lays that all out, right?
Yep.
It already lays that out. Whatever the training period is, right? It's already there.
Yes, yes, yes. She
So
changed her mind.
why did she not balk at it when she first signed it? Is she going to say that she wasn't aware of that clause?
No, she did not say that. No, she aware of that. But she just changed her mind.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't have any compassion for that. I honestly don't.
If
You know,
anything, she should reduce the price if she wants to not train people.
yeah, I'm sorry. You've spent a lot of time, Diane. You brought the buyer. You've got a signed agreement. I don't know. I would be tougher than you are, I think, and maybe Alfredo.
No, well, you don't violate the agreement. You don't do anything that will void it. What you do is you talk around it. So what aspect of the training, you can say it's too long, but is it because you're requiring me to be on site for 6 months, or can I be available by phone consultation? Can I be available to respond to email or text? Is there something that without, again, changing the basic agreement, because I agree, keep that firm, because that's your legal defense, is this is an agreement that was agreed to and signed and approved, but is there some humanitarian consideration that says, look, I got to move on. I don't want to be stuck if the person's asking for a year on-site training where I'm holding your hand, because normally, we know that once somebody sells a business, they want to get out of there as soon as possible. I mean, there's good intentions. I want to pass it on and train you, but I rarely want to go beyond a month and just say, hey, everything beyond that is available either through phone or email, or, if you want to bring me on as a paid advisor, I'm more than willing to stay on, but it'd be in addition to what the agreement said. But the agreement itself stays intact because that is your legal defense.
Okay, I got it.
Anyone